we'll be having time with these two great business people, and they'll be shedding light on some of the problems. I mean, I call it challenges, actually. You know, so in life, there's this analogy I was listening to. Someone was talking about how an archer launches arrow. So you want to launch an arrow, you need to pull back, all right? So when you pull back that arrow, it's like a setback to launch forward. So that actually stuck with me for a very long time. So when you experience setback in whatever you're going through, whether in business or in career, it's actually a time for, you know, think about the archer analogy. You're trying to pull back an arrow to launch forward. And when the farther you pull back, the farther it goes. So, you know, that's my analogy. Good morning, Pastor Deepo. I have a few questions here. And don't worry, because I have a laptop. It doesn't mean... All right, the first question I'll be asking you is actually... it says, Architect Deepo, your profile is very impressive, sir. What is the most challenging experience you can recall in your sojourn in the business space, and how did you overcome this?
Praise the Lord. Good morning, church. Most times when this question is asked, it's with so much nostalgia. I remember 2005, thereabout, where majority of our clients then were in one particular sector of the economy. The banking sector, to be precise. And that was when I think it was Professor Charles Soludo that came and said all banks should be recapitalized. And I think the minimum capital base then was 25 billion. So that was when we had mergers and acquisition of banks. And unfortunately, my clientele were mostly the EDs of the banks then. So most of them lost their jobs. You understand? And our projects were hanging. And I remember that it was so terrible that, and you know, as a young businessman then, because we started out 2004 thereabouts, this happened in 2005, I had gotten my hands into things that I thought would last me continuously. So I had invested money in some things. I just got a new SUV, so I was happy. And unfortunately, it was a V8 SUV. I just wanted to buy an SUV, Sha. So I bought a fuel guzzler. And V8, I'm sure you know what that means, that's a 5.3 liters engine. And all of a sudden, all our clients were gone. And for 10 months, it was terribly difficult. I do not know how I survived it, but thankfully, we had a truck that we bought, when we just started out. And someone walked up to our office and said they would love to be using our truck then to convey sachet water. So it came to us as a bit of respite, and we were using that. But things were terribly so bad that, honestly, my car then, I had two cars, the fuel gauge was perpetually on red. On red in that any amount of fuel I was buying, it would not lift it from red. So it was perpetually on red. And I remember I had a particular interview with Rosabelle. I think they were on Aromiri Avenue then, I don't know if they are still there. And I was, in my white shirt, I was going to have a meeting with the MD. And I was with my white shirt, nice suit. And I remember I entered a Mobile around Maryland. It's been demolished now. And I told the fuel attendant that I wanted to buy 200 naira. And the guy he looked at me. Me and myself was the one explaining to him that, I don't like my fuel to go beyond certain gauge. He didn't ask me a question now. You understand? So I bought that fuel, and I went for the interview, thank God. So while I was coming, my office was on Ikorodu Road, 89 Ikorodu Road, Friday then. And the car started jerking around, I think it was around Palm Grove. And I could feel the car jerking. I'm like, God, I will not be put to shame. Oh, help me. And from there, if I looked ahead, I could see if the truck is not there, thank God, that means they have come to take it. And I'm expecting revenue. Lo and behold, when I checked, I saw the truck. I was like, God have mercy. And the car was jerking. So immediately I entered, immediately I parked and I went upstairs. The first question I asked my staff was, didn't they come to pick the truck today? They said, no, sir. They said they didn't need it today. Question is, how would I fuel my car? How would I go home? Office was in Fadei. I was even in Najao Estate. You know? But they now said, Vivian, then God bless her, said, but sir, they brought some money for the ones they had used before. I was like, God, I thank you. That was how God came for me at that point. I don't know how much it was, but it maybe 500 naira or something, or 1,000 thereabouts. But you would not know. Now, I survived that. The lesson therein is this. Henceforth, I tried as much as possible, deliberately, to make sure that our clientele are spread across all the sectors. So that if one sector is affected, at least we are still running. And that is how it has been so far. So right now, we make sure that we go all out. We have bankers as clientele. We have lawyers. We have agricultural entrepreneurs, all sorts, until we got to our second stage, which is now we building and selling. So that is one of our worst periods. I have another one, but because of time, I will leave it at that particular one. It was a terrible moment. The mistake was we had one clientele in one sector, and once that sector was hit, we were badly hit too. But now the lesson therein is we try as much as possible to make sure that our clientele are spread across all the sectors, oil and gas, banking and finance, tech, all of them, so that if one aspect is dented, we can still move on with the other one. Right, that's what I did there.
Thank you very much. So in essence, what you just said is the concentration risk you have to mitigate, especially if you have a client, if your client base is actually in a particular sector. So managing the concentration risk. You can also have key man risk also. I mean, you need to manage various risk elements. Now, the next question is, I call it the BRT lane business question. It says, Coach Nancy, the get-rich-quick mindset is fast becoming a trend in our society. Unfortunately, the social media is also projecting some of these ideologies. Please advise us youths on how best to manage this pressure. Okay.
So the first thing I would say is, you need to know, you need to have a vision for your life. So vision will help you guide against unhealthy competition. But when you don't have vision, you don't have a goal, making money is cool, you can make money. But that pressure, you can take yourself out of the pressure based on your vision. So I will share experience. So when I left secondary school, my parents, I've lost my dad. There was no money to go back to higher institution. My mom was like, it was a conversation that we had in our house, like, once you get to SS3, go and find solution to your life. Like, we are 7 in number, so we know. So it's not a question of whether you are guessing. So I was not even thinking of going to higher institution. But immediately I got to SS3, I was coming out of secondary school. I just told myself, I'll go and look for a job. So I went to look for work, and I was working as a phone attendant in a place. Working there, majority of my friends, they are already in Unilag. They were doing better. But I had a goal that I want to go to school, because even though you are making money, you don't have a goal for that money, you will mismanage the money, you will squander it. So because I had a goal, I was not looking at anything around me. If I earn my 3,000 at the end of the month, I will remove my tithe first. The rest was going into my bank account in First Bank Allen. I will send my younger sister. But I realized I was just saving for that aim. So I was not even spending. I walk to the office, walk home. When I get home, I will eat whatever my mom cooks. When I'm going, I carry a little of what they have cooked. So I'm not ready to even spend 1 naira from that money, because I wanted to go to school. That was my goal. So I realized it didn't distract me from buying clothes or anything. I didn't buy anything during that period. But immediately I got to my goal, and I said, now I have enough money to go to school. I started buying. So we must understand there is sacrifice first before pleasure. But the youth of today, they want to have pleasure that somebody that has been working for 20 years is having. When you see somebody posting a particular car on Instagram, go and check their results. How old is the person? What has he been doing? How long did it take him to get there? So I remember this thing actually happened to one of my staff that left, or some group of people in my estate. My business is doing well. So they brought money and gave him. So he went with them. And immediately he saw me that I used my Echo car for like 10 years. I had money already, but I didn't change it, because I was building my capital. We must understand that part. I was building my capital. I was not ready to change the car. Not that I didn't have the fund. I didn't want to. So when I got to a place of comfort, my business was okay. I told myself, Nancy, you need to enjoy yourself. I need to buy CRV. That was when I went to buy. And I told myself, I don't want Tokumbo. I want CRV. My husband was like, what's the issue? I said, that's what I want. So I bought it. Immediately he saw me. I was driving past him. He was standing by the way. He just saw me that I drove past. The thing touched him like, we are now running the same business. He has bought a new car, like he wants to go and buy. I'm like, I was paying you salary before you went to work for people. You want to kill yourself. You can't compare yourself with me. So 2 weeks later, 1 month, I heard he has bought an Islander from the company's money that they gave him to manage. At the end, that business cropped. So we must understand where we are, understand that you need to sacrifice first, you need to work first, and as you work, as you save back your money will begin to grow. Then there are some things you will do from a place of, without pressure. Not that you want to buy a car, you have used all your, I'm not saying don't buy a car with your last couple, if that's your goal or your vision. But I'm just saying there is a way you do it that it will pose a lot of pressure on you, and you will be, because I've done it when I was buying land. The first land I bought it from my business capital. And the thing went to the foundation of my business. I almost died. I wanted to sell that place like 3 times. So you don't need that stress. You can still achieve it. But if you have a vision, then you have a business that you are looking up to. And if the business is not working, like I said, seek counsel. Don't wait for 1 year to seek counsel. Once you have tried 2 months, it's not working, ask people around that are doing the business. How are they doing it? Keep asking, you will get answer. So from that answer, your result will encourage you. Then you can plan or whatever good thing of life you want.
Praise the Lord. Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for her. So in essence, she's saying delayed gratification. Maybe that was a mistake architect Dinho made when he got the first deal. He got an SUV, a V8. Maybe if he had gotten a 4-cylinder,
It was the cheapest.
Yeah, it was the cheapest. Okay. All right, praise the Lord. All right, the next question is on expansion, business expansion. We're looking at upgrade, right? So I'll be throwing that question to you, sir. It says, what is your take on financing a business idea on credits, either from banks or from interest-bearing loans? Or is it possible to get loans from non-interest-bearing institutions or non-interest-bearing loans? Or, what's your take on getting finance to fund a business?
Okay, thank you. Truth is, everybody needs help. Now, it now depends on the level you want to get to. Do you want to be big? Do you want to be mega? It depends. If you want to be big, you can continue growing organically. As in, whatever you are doing, you make your profits, then you plow back, then you just keep growing arithmetically. You understand? You can stay on that. But there is a level you get to where you want to be very mega, and then you need what is called OPM. OPM means other people's money. If you have so mastered a particular process in your business, and then the next thing is to multiply it by 2, and you're like, okay, fine. After I have done 2, I should get to 4. But something is telling you that if you've mastered 1 very, very well, rather than do 2, why can't you do 6? After all, you've learned the processes. In that one, you've made your mistakes, you've gotten the pros and the cons. So fantastic. And if you want to do 6, you need OPM. So the thing is this, have you done the one you are doing so well that people can trust you? Wherever you go to, if you're going to the banking industry, they will want to ask you some questions. And anyway, you must drop equity anyway. Nobody will give you money without dropping certain percentage of equity. For you to be able to drop the equity, you must have been doing well in the business. You are going for them to expand. So it's not all of the time that you need to go via the place of loan. It could be you could go the place of public order. We have seen companies going for IPOs. We have IPOs if you feel you are big enough. And then if you feel you want to take it a bit steady, you can do what is called private placement. And if you feel that, look, you are doing so well and you still want to improve, then you can go to family and friends, or some people we call angel investors. But in all of the things we are saying, there must have been certain elements of capacity in what you are doing for you to even approach them. So it's very, very important. We had to do it at a point in our life. Then sometimes it also helps you to build your own credit worthiness. You need it in life. No matter, you can't be solo and say you want to be very big. Like I said, if you want to be big, it's okay. But if you want to be mega, and I think we've been taught in church to be mega, so you need other people's money. I can tell you that for free. We are doing a product now. Engineer Lanikwe is aware of it. And our first building was just 1. Logically, after 1, we should go to like 2 or 3. But believe you me, we are going to 16. Now, it takes you to blow your mind. And it takes you to like, if I die, I die. But the truth is, you will not die. That's the truth.
Hallelujah.
But immediately you've put your mind to it that you will do it, then you will do it, because what happens, resources begin to spring up. 3 years ago or thereabout, God told me, like, Dikwa, I've trained you enough. Now it's time to start leveraging on your social relationship. Leverage on them. Go and talk to people. And the truth is social capital. And the truth is you talk to them and they are willing to assist. One of our friends that got a loan, mind-boggling loan, told me where he got the loan from. Believe you me, I was on the board of that company that he got the loan from. A friend got a loan from a company I was on their board and I couldn't get the loan. So you leverage on your friends. Who are you working with? So I would advise, if you want to be very mega, please consider it. But if you want to take it easy, if you are risk averse, they said at a certain age of your life, you want to begin to take it easy.
Yeah,
that, okay, when you are getting to 50, you want to... Me, I'm not taking it easy. I am just starting out. One of the things I've learned in the last 3, 4, 5 months is brevity in business. If you can think it, you can do it. I met a guy who said he was just entering secondary school when I started out in business. And he's talking about ₦1 billion deal with Lagos State. He had to pay them 450 million upfront to acquire a land. I'm like, what are you talking about? So please, if you want to be mega, as we are being taught, see our auditorium is mega, then you need OPM. But if you want to remain okay, you want to grow organically, 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4, fine. Leverage on your profit, as Coach Nancy said, save well, do well, enjoy yourself, and just grow like that. But if you want to be mega, you need to use OPM. Ask Dangote, ask them. They are always leveraging on banks. Yeah. It's not as if they don't have the money, but why would I do 2 when I can do 4? So that's just it. So please, if you want to be mega, explore that option. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I want to add to it.
You want to add something to that?
So I want to add to what you have said. Thank you so much for what you said. But what I want to say is for business owners that are still coming up, for new ideas, most times I don't really advise that you get a loan for new idea. Test run your idea, validate it, be sure that, this thing is working. Then you can scale it up. You can scale it up. Every business, the truth is, loan is not bad. You can leverage on, even bank loan is not bad. But the truth is, before you get loan, what structure do you have in place? You need to ensure your business is well structured enough before you get loan. If you get loan into a business that is not structured, you will either eat up the money or your team member will swindle your money and you'll be paying debts. So don't be scared.
Sorry, when you say structure, are you saying
financial
control,
structure,
process, and all that?
Both processes, financial structure, everything is in sync. That you, as the business owner, you can always know what is happening with your finances. You are not in the dark. Not that money has been missing 1 year ago. You did not even know until they come to do audit. Don't want that kind of. If you want to get loan into that kind of, be a business owner that is on top of your numbers. Getting loan is not bad at all. It helps you with expansion. You can do more, but ensure you understand. And that business is a business that you've understood the whole. Like what Pastor Dikwa was trying to say. You have understood everything, how to make it work, and it's working for you. Then you want to double. You want to expand. For instance, maybe you are doing well in Lagos and you have seen the whole thing. You understand it. You've documented the processes. You've put the structure. You want to be in Abuja. You know already how it will go. Then you can expand, you can do more. Don't always play it safe. Because in business, risk is faith in business. Like the faith you take in church is the same thing you do in business. If you don't take risk, you can't be very wealthy. You'll be doing the little things. Because the people that take risk are the ones that make the major money.
Thank you very much.
So that's it.
Thank you very much.
Truth actually is this, honestly. The thing is, if your business is not even structured, you won't even be pre-qualified for loan.
For loans, yeah.
That's the truth. Except some money misrules just want to. But if you are going to regulated sector of the economy, they will even ask for your books. They will ask for your financial audits. So if you do not have, you won't even be pre-qualified anyway. And all the ones that I've measured, if you want to go, via public offers, if you want to go via private placement, these are the things they would ask. So you can't scale up if you have not perfected the art of growing your little. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So we'll actually be, I'll shed more light on this, but we'll actually be taking questions from the audience. If you have any question, maybe 2 or 3, we'll just scribble it down and give it to any of our officials and we'll take on that. So what I can get here is, there's actually what we call funds matching. if you want to fund a long-term project and you take short-term loans, you're going to be running from pillar to post. So it's short-term loans are just for your working capital, day-to-day running. But if you want to fund the project and your repayment terms are like you pay every month and you can't sell, but for this kind of project is long-term. You can't take a short-term loan. He's going to be running from pillar to post and all that. And there's what we call debt or equity funding, right? What we talked about is when you grow, you can actually get guys to come and take stake in your company. They are stakeholders. So if you go down together. Nobody's going to come back and ask you. What you pay them is just maybe dividend, returns on their investment. But if you take, interest-bearing loans, that's the debt part, and you're not disciplined, you're going to keep struggling. So funds matching is very, very critical. So we'll go to the next question, which is on profitability. I'm going to throw that to you. It says, my business has been running at a loss. I've tried to check leakages and wastages. I've even fasted and prayed. But nothing has changed. What else can I do?
Okay, so you need to check your overhead first. What is the cost of your business? Then what is the profit? When your business is running into loss, there's something wrong in the system. It's not spiritual. Fasting is good. I pray a lot. Fasting is good. We are in church. But you have to check. Are you making enough sales that is... I'm working with a lady. She sells food. And immediately, the first thing is bring out your books. She's running into loss. Staff salary alone, once we net staff salary out, there's nothing left. So they are eating into the capital. So you have more than enough staff. So you have to check well. There's something wrong. Is it that you are not making enough sales to cover this? So if your overhead is so much, you have to make sales that will cover your overhead and still leave something left. So for instance, maybe your overhead is 1 million and you are making sales. After your profit, you will make 500,000. There is problem, or it's a clear problem. And that problem, what we can do to it is, let's do publicity, let's do marketing. How do we sell more? But if you are making profit in your system and you are still making loss, then we have to look inwards. One can be you, the CEO. One. The other one can be your team member.
Or termites, like we have in Nigeria now, or snake.
So the CEO is that a lot of business owners have not separated themselves from their business. And I talk a lot from experience. I remember years back, I was making profit, this particular month, it's about years back. So I was making profit, but my business fund was not growing. Because every month I will calculate, why am I still 10 million? But I made profit of XYZ this month. So I was checking like that. So one day I started calling for help. I went to the bank because they've been inviting me for training, free training. I would say, I don't have time. Let me go and do my business. So when I had that problem, I was looking for them. They now said, the training is not available now. So later the training came up. They said I was still qualified. So I went for that training. The guy was just saying, go and pay yourself salary. After I waited. I saw the man. I asked him all the questions. I'm having issues. I'm making profit. I know my numbers. But so when I got back home from that training, the first thing I discovered was that a particular month, I spent 6 million naira out of my business to myself and my home. Wow. So now, and it threw my business into negative before I now pay my staff. And the reason is that I've set up a system where as I'm collecting money, then I was not on salary. But I just want to see what is happening. So if I collect XYZ, they will post it to my name, MD. So at the end of the month, when I just ran through, I just thought, how come? I'm not extravagant. I don't waste money. So that sometimes one thing that makes us become victims is you feel that you are not extravagant, I don't waste money, but you are giving the business money to people. You are also spending at home. I even forgot to collect housekeep money. I was just doing big woman. I was just cooking everything. But I'm going everywhere to do what I want to do. So, but immediately after that scene, I had to tell my husband, Oga, please bring your money. Because the truth is, when you are not very, very detailed, you will leave a lot of things out of the way. So one of the things is maybe you have not separated yourself from your business. And if you have not, I'm telling you, your business cannot grow. Any business owner that don't separate themselves from their business, your business, the reason is that you now see yourself as the owner of that fund. There is no boundary. Immediately somebody calls you that I'm having problem of 1 million, everything. Because once you look at your account, 50 million, you see yourself as the owner. You just move it. But once you start paying yourself, you realize that there is that boundary. I'm no longer the owner of this money. The business owner is you are the owner of the business, but you are not the business. You need to understand that. So when you earn your own salary, maybe you earn 1 million, you will be making decisions from your 1 million. And I keep telling my client, if you want to dash it out, you can dash all the 1 million out, but don't touch your business fund again. So from there, you start seeing discipline. And I have a free resource on that, how to pay yourself guide. It's on the link in my bio. It's free. You can just click it, download it, read it, and you can do it for yourself. It will help you a lot. Then the other part is your staff. If your staffs are also, you are not accountable, people can just make sales without, and they don't. I went somewhere one day, at the end of the day, they didn't reconcile anything. And it's a product business where everybody's selling. And they closed. Everybody just started going. And I'm like, hello, madam, come, what's happening? Is there no report? She said, no, we don't send report. I'm like, eh? And when we checked, a lot of things was wrong. We now started putting it. So some business owners just started business with, like, let me just start it, or they just dumble into business. They are making money, you are growing, but you can never see the true potential of that business if you don't do it right. That's what I'm
Praise the Lord. So in essence, I mean, record keeping is very essential. So many things happen in this climb. In Nigeria, someone can just come up and say, Tamad has eaten a voucher, or snake swallowed your money. I mean, so if you don't keep records and you don't ask for reconciliation as often as possible, periodically, people will just make away with your money. And so you've actually addressed the next question, which is talking about the entity concept, meaning separating your business from your drawings, from your, overhead and the likes. So I'm going to take us to the next question, which is, I'm going to take that to you, managing stakeholders. In business, there are various stakeholders. Now, if you are scaling up, government will notice you. People, you have competition, you have government, you have your various stakeholders, right? So we have investors. A large percentage of business owners do not believe in paying taxes to government. So when you grow up, government will notice you and you don't believe in paying taxes. Meeting their service, they also do not believe in meeting service delivery expectations. So you have an SLA, you don't meet your service level agreement, and they don't also believe in giving returns to investors. What is your take on this? How do you manage those? You have the government, you have investors. How do you manage these key stakeholders as you expand in business?
Well, excuse me. Truth is, when we're talking about the business climb, let's take Nigeria as a case study. The truth is, most people do not trust government. That's the truth. Why would I pay so much and someone is dashing another country 1.4 billion? You want to ask yourself that. But be that as it may, it doesn't stop you from performing your own civic responsibility. Again, it's all about where do you want to play, which league. Do you want to be big or do you want to be mega? There is no way you can be mega without government noticing. And once they come to you, they've placed my account on lien before. I had to pay immediately 2 million, immediately, for them to just remove the lien. Now, the thing is this. For you to pay tax shows that you are big. For you to pay tax even while you are small shows that you are thinking of getting big. Now, majority of us do not understand that there is tax avoidance and there is tax evasion. Evasion is illegal, avoidance is not. Once you have fantastic lawyers, they will help you do your books. Like in our own company, we have a particular segment for benevolence. That's where we push money out to the less privileged for CSR. Government is not going to tax you on that. So if you don't trust government, send your money out to people to work for you. You understand? And they will leave your books. Then also, majority of us do not know that based on the new tax laws and the reforms, once your turnover is less than 25 million, you're not supposed to pay tax. Now, the question is...
Did you hear that? Can you go?
Once your turnover is less than 25 million per annum, you're not supposed to pay tax. Don't let them deceive you. Now, the question is, how do I calculate my turnover? The turnover is not all the money that comes into your business. Those are clients' money. Your turnover is your portion out of it. So for some of us now that we are into 10%, 5% charges, we may do revenue of over 1 billion in a year. But what are we charging? 5%, 10%. So that is yours. So if it's less than 25 million, you don't have to pay tax. Now, does that mean you shouldn't file tax? They expect you to file your tax annually, and they expect you to file your VAT every month. Now, filing does not mean you have to pay. Filing just goes to show government that, okay, this is what we are making, we are transparent, but we are not going to pay because we have not met the 25 million naira mark. So feel free. So don't be afraid to pay tax. Yes, no matter what you do, There will still be leakages in the polity, in the system, but it doesn't stop you from doing what you're supposed to do. Meanwhile, there are some things that you can't do now these days without they asking for your TCC. That's your tax clearance certificate. So it's becoming a bit more difficult now to run. Every of the system would always ask you for it. Then talking about return on investment and meeting your obligation to shareholders, it's also part of you as a person. Are you greedy? If they've funded your business, why won't you be transparent enough? Let them see your books. They are not saying you must return the first year. Some would even give you a moratorium of 2 or 3 years. But what they are asking of you is to be as transparent as possible. When they invested in you, they've invested into your asset and your liability. They believe in you that eventually it will grow. They know that it may not grow the first year. Some may not even grow the second year. You may not even start making returns until the third year. But are you keeping them abreast? Do they know your books? That's the essence of you having board of directors. That's the essence of you having auditors. Your auditors will compile your financial report and show it to them so they can see. And then some of them may be in the position to advise that, okay, how about you do it this way? Then you may eventually have profit. And some of them, let me tell you, even in your loss, may even want to invest more. Because they know that the reason why you are making loss is because you're not scaling as you should. So let's put in more money. So I will advise you are as transparent as possible. If you do not have anything to hide, why? Then if you are making money, why don't you want to give your returns? You are limiting yourself to where you are. You've forgotten that when you return, then you want to give more. And when you give more, then you expand. And when you expand, then you become mega. And that is it. So please, I will beg of us, learn to pay your tax. Pay your payee every month. We started doing our payee, honestly, when I think it was Governor Fashola that was there. And we saw what they were doing. And based on what church has taught us, we're like, Dikwa, it would be unfair not to be paying with what government is doing. And I called our accountant. Let's begin to file for our payee monthly. And since then, we've never looked back. And God himself, that knows that you are not a cheat, will bless you. Don't be scared of how will we pay the next one. Don't worry. As long as you have enough integrity, God will provide. But please just do it because of structure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, bottom line, we have to be responsible and meet all our obligations to the government and to all our various stakeholders. We'll be rounding up soon. I don't know if you have any question from the audience before we take our last questions here. The question is going to you. It says, I've been running a business with my 9-to-5 job for the past few years. When is the right time for me to focus fully on my business? What are the indicators that will make me know that it is time to fully focus on my business and grow it?
So it depends on you. It depends on you, number one. When you started the side also, were you starting to quit your job at a particular time? Some people have side also, but they still want to be in their career. I still want to work here, but I'm having this one to just make extra income, to have alternate income. But if you have a goal to say, oh, at a time I'm going to leave, number one, you have to plan your exit. When you are planning your exit, also, one of the indicators that will make you know it's time for you to leave is for you to check your income. What are you making? Is it enough for the level you are? Or if I scale it up more, will I be able to make it? So you've seen that the business is doing well. Now you are looking at, if I scale it more, or if I focus more, can I make more? So those are the things that will help you make the right decisions. And also you deciding if you truly want to be a full-time entrepreneur or you want to still be a career person. I think that's
Thank you very much. Do you have a take on that? Yeah.
Another thing is this. Most times, it's also because of security. What happens if I quit my 9-to-5, whereby I know that monthly something is coming in, as against going to business that some months you may not. The truth is this. When your side hustle starts growing, even your 9-to-5 will feel it. You can't hide it. It's either it begins to take your time, and you discover that while you are doing your 9-to-5, your business is calling you. At that particular point in time, I know you are scared, but I'd rather advise you move out rather than you becoming a stealer of time in someone else's company. Now, I'll also advise, especially if you are married, if you have a partner, that while you are moving out, what is your partner doing? Is he doing something that is regular? If he is, then move out and do it. When we left where I was working before, my salary was less than 30,000, honestly speaking. But when we moved out, just like Coach Nancy said, of course, the first thing is I had to be on salary. I had to be on salary. I mean, every expense made we wrote it down. So I could monitor and trace our money. I could. It was so easy to see where the money is going to. And it was so easy to diagnose what the problem was. So right from day one, aside from the bad period in 2005, I've never had, I'm not sure I've run into loss, as it were. But the thing is this, we were on salary. And then we didn't increase the salary until maybe 2 years after. I increased a bit again, 3 years. So before I was able to match what I was earning when I was working 9 to 5, it took me about 3 years. So I matched it eventually, and I was like, finally. Then 10 years down the line, then I was earning times 10 of what I was earning, where I was working before, times 10. Now I asked myself, if I was there, don't leave it with what you were earning 10 years ago. They probably would have also scaled up. So what would you be earning? Maybe they would have doubled, but I was earning times 10. 10 years when we started our own business. Today, I have doubled that times 10 now, and if I want to quadruple today, I can. But the good thing is, let's face it, the business pays my bills. Aside from all our allowances, it pays my fuel, it pays my recharge card, we can travel annually. That is the beauty of business. 9 to 5 may not give you that. But when it gets to a point that your side hustle is beginning to impact negatively on your 9 to 5, I'd rather you throw in the towel and raise your head high than to steal someone's time and you are shown the exit. Thank you.
Praise the Lord. Let's put our hands together for him. So don't steal your current employer's time. In closing, just 30 seconds. What do you have to say for our intending entrepreneur?
Okay, so in closing, I want to quickly say something on the tax issue Pastor Dikpo talked about. We must understand that for us to be big and mega, we can't run away from some important responsibility. Imagine Tony Elumelu saying he's not paying tax. You understand? So if you want to be big, I knew this about some years ago. I just sat down one day in my office and I said, I have to start paying my tax because I had fear of success. Like, I don't want people to know me. And that's one of the things that happens to a small business owner. You are hiding. Let them know so that they will not charge me tax. They will know. Those things happen. But if you get to the level of being big, you have to pay those things. And I did that. Like 2 years later, when I've put my books in order, they sent me a ridiculous bill from tax. I could not sleep. Like, I was awake for days. My husband is like, yes, the business will go. But thank God I have gone ahead. So there are some things we need to do for ourselves because of where we are going to. Because a Dangote will not say, I'm hiding from tax. So see yourself in that light and start putting the right thing in place, like you said. And that's where I'm going to
Thank you very much. So prepare, for where you're going to. You're planning to be big, so pay your taxes. And in closing, too, as we round up,
brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, Genesis 2:19 talked about, paraphrasing, that when God gave Adam the task of naming all the animals, and believe me, there are millions of animals, the Bible says that for every name that Adam called them, that was their name. So in other words, before God told Adam to name, he had already given him a DNA and a software to know what to look for. And so let me tell you something. The fact that you are thinking of business, God has given you the software to be successful in that business. I know you may want to be a bit apprehensive, you may want to be a bit fearful, but that's the reason why we are in church. We are telling you, step out. We are not asking you to test the waters with your 2 feet, but step out. If you have various ideas, that ideas is a solution to the world. God doesn't waste resources. Go all out. Do whatever it takes. Seek counsel and just forge ahead. And I can assure you that the sky will be your stepping stone. God bless you.
Praise the Lord. Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for our speaker.